Engaging, enlightening, informative. This is WLOX News This Week.
Well, good morning. I'm Dave Elliott. Thanks for joining us. We start with the very latest on the sale of Singing River Health System. The Jackson County Board of Supervisors has selected a buyer. Board President Ken Taylor joins us right now to talk about the process. Ken, good to see you, and thanks for joining us here on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Because this is such a huge story in Jackson County. I mean, Singing River Health System is so important to the folks. So you issue a request for proposal, and how many interested parties were there? Can you at least tell us that?
We cannot expose
Just how many people
yet.
Was there a lot of interest?
There was good competition. We have multiple systems have responded, and we're delighted with that because the system is a very, very profitable system. It's key to the community, and it's not a fire sale. It is a serious sale of an excellent system.
Okay, so you end up going with Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. They operate in Louisiana, Mississippi. What was it about their philosophy that you liked? Since we really can't talk about the numbers and the money, what is it you liked about their philosophy and why they were a good marriage?
Overall, we liked their clinical approach, but I've got to be very cautious here because we have multiple lawyers that are saying do not talk about anything until this thing gets resolved.
But you did put out in a press release, and I'll find it here, that something about how you thought that the way they looked at the world was kind of in alignment with the way Jackson County, and you'd like to see the health system run.
As the hospital system this morning said, our RFP and their proposal fit together just like that. So we're very pleased with them. We have authorized our consultant, Raymond James, and the attorneys, Butler Snow out of Jackson. We've never sold a hospital system, so we need all the help we can get, and we have authorized them to get into negotiations now that will take several months. There are multiple conditions that are in the proposal, and we are aware of that, and we expect that. We should have announced earlier that selecting the best and final was not as final as a sale.
Yeah, because it was reported, Singing River Health System sold.
Right.
No, we have a few steps to go on this.
We have steps to go.
Yeah, but if everything falls into place and everything passes muster, this could be completed as early as mid-fall, maybe?
September at the latest, I would say.
Oh, really?
And hopefully sooner than that.
Okay. Now, at the beginning, one of the options was the county to just keep the health system, but that's not sustainable. That's not realistic, is it?
It is not. The system needs good strategic partners who are like-minded, and I will tell you right now, Jackson County is not the best entity to own a hospital. So we recognize that. We spent long periods of time discussing this with Singing River Health System, and literally they asked us if we could not provide strategic funding, then please consider selling them. And that's exactly what we did, and the process kicked off last year, and it's going extremely well.
You know, a lot of people may wonder, I don't know the number. I should know the number. I'm sorry, Ken. How much does the county contribute to Singing River Health System right now?
Zero.
What's budgeted?
Zero. Zero.
Oh, I thought there were a couple $1 million.
We are on the hook to pay bond issues off if we have to. We can dedicate 4 or 5 mills to that, but that's it. We recently awarded them, I think, about $700,000 to help with nurses' pay. But that was
during
unusual.
COVID and right after
Yes.
the pandemic. So a lot of people wonder after the retirement system scandal, and I'm going to call it a scandal. Okay, so what's going to happen? Are the retirees going to be safe? Or is the money going to be there to support the retirement system? And to that you say?
To that I say, if they were not responsive to our requirement, they would not have been responsive to the RFP. It contains a little thing called asset-free, debt-free. What that means is every penny of cash and investments in the hospital system today are going to go to Jackson County. We also will assume all long-term debt. That is bonds that are outstanding, and it's also to pay the required amount of money into the pension settlement.
So that's safe, that's sound.
That's guaranteed.
Current workers and retirees can feel confident that that is not in any way in jeopardy then.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. You heard it here. During the legislative session, they just passed a $103 million hospital sustainability bill. It's primarily designed to go to rural hospitals, so I don't know if we qualify down here on the coast, but have you looked into that at all to see if the state can maybe help, not just Singing River, but all of our health systems down here?
I think the legislature, I think that's a high priority item. I think they are doing that. We are not a rural hospital, and so I don't think we would apply. We actually kind of brushed that off because we were deeply into the sale of the system.
Yeah. Well, I think all hospitals just should have access to that money. I know there are some up in the Delta. I know there are some in the Jackson area that are really hurting, this close to shutting down. But I think from a statewide perspective, personally, I believe all hospitals should have some kind of access to that money.
And I agree with that, and they're making it available, and hopefully that will all pass and they can spread some money out because, as you say, our rural hospitals are at the verge of bankruptcy in Mississippi.
All right, before we, let's talk about one other thing before we run out of time. We have all this federal money that has been coming into Mississippi, and the counties and the cities having access to really quite a big pot of money. And I was told by Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann that the counties and the cities that are best prepared to submit requests or go after funding will actually come out better than those that are just taking it lightly. Is Jackson County working that really hard?
We are on top. We have great advisors and employees. We are on top of requesting money. Yes.
And this is infrastructure, water, sewer, these are all these kinds of things?
Yes, yes, guaranteed.
Okay.
Again, guaranteed.
Guarantee, we got a couple guarantees.
Right.
Out of Board President Ken Taylor today. Well, Ken, when will we expect the next bit of news on the Singing River Health System?
I would, prior to September.
Okay. Okay. Ken, good to see you, and thanks for being with us.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. And coming up, movement soon on the Pops Ferry Road Extension Project. Biloxi Mayor Fofo Gillich will be here to talk about that and more.